Here today, we're going to talk about meal planning in Notion. My name is Jessica, and I make Notion templates. This is a template I created for myself and that I use constantly. And I just updated this for 2024, added a lot more functionality to it, also hopefully made it a little bit prettier. And I wanted to show you how to meal plan in Notion. You'll see here the first page we have is the Nutrition Planner dashboard, and we do call this the Nutrition Planner over in my Etsy shop on Minimalish Paper Company. This dashboard is meant just to give you a quick glimpse into the different aspects of your planner. Here we have some Nutrition Planner instructions. You can delete those after you're done if you don't want them. Here we have a meal planner. Here you can see a gallery view, which will just basically show all of your recipes here. If you click on a recipe, they're going to open in center view. This is one I pinned from using Notion Web Clipper from Pinch of Yum, and you can see we have the picture. And one of the best things about using Notion Web Clipper to save recipes into a meal planner is that it actually saves the entire article. So you have all of this. If you want to keep it, you also, if you just want to keep the picture and maybe the recipe, you can go back and delete all of these things out, or if you want to keep the entire article, you can. But I think that is probably the greatest part about using Notion to meal plan is that you don't then have to go to a website. You don't have to dig through your phone or through your bookmarks to find a recipe. They're all saved for you. This is such a time saver. Here you can see all of your recipes for the week. These are just a few I put in there as an example. You can select the meal that this will be for. Is this for brunch, snack, dinner, lunch, or breakfast? And you can pick the day, and then you can actually set a date if you want to. If you're just planning on a weekly basis, then you may just want to be able to select a day of the week and the meal that is for. But if you're planning for more of on a monthly or maybe several weeks at a time, you may want to do that. The other thing you'll want to do is fill in these sections. Simply scroll down, see the serving size, and see the total cook time. And up here, you'll want to change this cook time. So I just saw that this one was 80 minutes. So I want to change that cook time so I know how long that's going to take to cook. And I want to be able to see it just when I look at my planner. So I can open up my Notion dashboard and see that this meal takes 80 minutes, this one takes 12 minutes, and this one takes 65 minutes. Here also, this is the same database for your meal planner, which is where you're going to store the recipes that you're cooking in any given week, and I'll show you how to do that. Here you'll be able to click on a weekly view, which is actually going to break it down by day, and you'll be able to see which meals you have for each day. Then you'll be able to see a monthly calendar. If you select an actual date, as I showed you before, those will actually show up on an actual calendar view. And here's something new I added, which is for batch cooking. Batch cooking is when you cook several meals all at one time. And then you typically are going to freeze those or save those in some way for a future meal. And batch cooking is something people do to save time. And you also could be doing this with just ingredients. Maybe you're not batch cooking whole meals. But when you open your recipes right here, you'll see a check mark. And if you click the check mark for batch cooking, meaning this is a great recipe that I can make ahead and freeze, then it's going to appear here for you to batch cook. And I'll show you how that comes into effect later. Here you have your recipe box, a perpetual grocery list, and a pantry inventory. These are actually the same database. I'm going to show you how that works. And here's just a task list. So let's start with the meal planner. Here in the meal planner, we have some instructions. But the great thing that you can do to use here is you can take your recipe box and take any recipe that you want to make, and you can simply drag it. So you can drag that recipe there. You can open this up, and you can pick a meal. So I can say, I want to eat this for lunch, and I want to eat it on Saturday, and that date is the 27th. And I can scroll down and say, this has 4 servings, and will take me 40 minutes to cook. Also too, here's some tags to tag the recipe. If this is something you wanted to meal prep, for instance, if you wanted to meal prep some portion of this, maybe you wanted to make the dressing in advance, or you wanted to chop up the herbs in advance, you can just click right here for meal prep. And right here you have a status. So on the status of this meal that I've added, you can add multiple different statuses here too if you want to, but I just added 5. One is complete, which is that the item has been cooked. You've already cooked it for that week, or maybe you batch cooked it, that you have completed the meal prep. Maybe you just have the ingredients on hand. If ingredients are needed or meal prep is needed, you can put that status. So if I wanted to change the status to meal prep needed, then I would be able to look at my calendar and see that I've added this meal and I do need to meal prep some portion of this. Or this could mean I need to go to the grocery store. This means I have all these items on hand already. And let's just say today I made this, I can change that to cooked, that is already cooked. Here is another recipe box right here where you can drag and drop. The recipe box also too is going to be sorted into breakfast, lunch, dinner, healthy. You can sort this any way you want to. So basically what you can do is click this button here, and I want to add my recipe box. And let's say I apologize, I messed that up. For this one right here, I'm going to hit rename. And let's say I just want this to show healthy. So I just want this to show my healthy recipes that I have. So I'm going to click on healthy. I'm going to hit filter, and I'm going to go to tags, and I'm going to have it only show recipes that are marked as healthy, which I've actually done that here too. Okay, and then if you don't want it, just side click and hit delete view. Okay, so another nice thing you can do is, you've noticed I've taken a lot of efforts to make this very aesthetic. You can go in and change the little icons, and it's just a little something, but you can change it. It just makes it a little bit of a happier template. The other thing you can do here is your grocery list. Your grocery list has its own page, but it's also linked here. This is a list. Right here you can add tags for the section it is in and the grocery store you want to use. So if I click a new item, and let's say I want to add kale, I want to add tags that will be in the produce section, and I want to add a store that I'm going to get that at the farmer's market. I can even add a little icon if I want to. Okay. The great thing about this is when you're shopping in the grocery store, you could go so far as to filter your grocery list right here by things that are marked produce, so that when you're in the produce aisles, you can just see the things in the produce section. And that just could really make your shopping a lot easier. Another option you have here is I put one little to-do box here. The reason I put that there is for this. So let's say we look at this Green Goddess Detox Salad recipe, and I know I want to make this. So using my mouse, I can highlight these. I'm on a Mac, so I'm going to hit Command C. You're going to hit Control C if you're on a PC. And right here, I can just paste it. I hit Command V, or you can hit Control V, which is the paste shortcut, and you can paste it right here. I gave you both options if you didn't want to go through the effort of building out a grocery list like this, and you just wanted to do this functionality. And then as you shop, you can go through and delete. Next up, we're going to go to the grocery list. So there's 2 grocery lists that live here. One is a basic grocery list. That's the one I just showed you. As you'll see here when you look at the grocery list, these are filtered. So right here just says list. This is all of your items. This includes a quantity, the section of the store, and the actual store you'll be at. Here you can click produce, and this is only going to show you things tagged produce. Here's dairy, meat, freezer, snacks, breads and grains, and other. You can add any tags that you want to in there by just right here. If you see something that maybe you want, so let's say you wanted to look in the supplement aisle, you can just type that in and hit create supplement, and supplement is now a tag that we have. Next up, you have a perpetual grocery list. The idea of a perpetual grocery list is this is a grocery list you make once and can use over and over again, because these are items that you want to have on hand all of the time. So let's just say that you always like to have a few avocados. You always want to have broccoli, milk, bread, and creamer. Okay. And I even added some little icons here. And the store I get those at are tagged here. And then the idea is each week or however often you want to, you can go through and check the status of those items. So for instance, if this week it's time to go to the grocery store and I look and I notice that we do have milk, we don't have a lot, but it's in low stock. And then I can check and say, okay, we have broccoli, we have some avocados, we have bread, and we need creamer. And let's just add one here. Let's say lemons. I always like to have about 3 lemons in the house. Right here when you click on lemons, right here when you click open, if you want to add a little icon, you can do that up here. But those items are in stock. The great thing about this is we use the same database here to build this pantry inventory. This is the same database, but right now it is filtered to show things that are in stock and low stock, meaning that when I'm at the store, I can look and see, oh, this is what I have on hand. So if you're there and you get inspired, or you're at the farmer's market and you get inspired by something, you can look and see what you have on hand. So it just takes a little bit of work to go in and update this, which you can easily do on your phone as you walk around. You can build your pantry inventory right there. Next up, this is our recipe box. I'm going to show you how to pin recipes here. Here your recipes are all going to appear here. This is all recipes, as you'll see is written right here. Here, this one, breakfast, lunch, dinner, go-to recipes, quick and easy recipes. These are all the same database. They're just based upon how these are tagged. So if you tag a meal as being appropriate for dinner, it's going to appear down here in the dinner recipes. If you tag one marked as quick and easy, it's going to appear in quick and easy. And you can add these or delete these or change them however you want to. Next up on this page, I did include your meal planner database. And if you remember, that's the place where you're actually going to pick the meals you're eating on a weekly basis. I thought it would be a good place to have. You can do the same functionality of dragging and dropping those. Okay. The other thing I want to show you is using Notion Web Clipper. Notion Web Clipper is a Chrome extension that is going to live right here. As you see, this little Chrome extension that I've installed allows me to go to a website that I love. This is What's Gabby's Cooking. If you have not used her recipes, you absolutely should. But I can go here and let's say I look at this summer ratatouille pasta and I think my family would love it. I'm going to click my Notion Web Clipper. I'm going to go down and select the database I want. So I may want it to go into my recipe box, or I may want it just to go into my meal planner. This week, I know I want to make this, so I'm going to put it in my meal planner. I'm going to hit save. You do have to give it a few moments to show up. But if you notice right here in our meal planner, it showed up. This is the meal planner database. And right here, the recipe showed up. It actually loaded the entire article, all of the pictures. So if I want to read this later, I can. If I want to back out all these pictures, I can. The one thing you'll notice is here you see the pictures. This does not happen automatically. Typically what you have to do is take the picture and just drag it up to be the first thing listed. Once that happens, you'll see the picture listed here. Here you can change the icon. And when you open this up, you can change and add all of these properties. So let's say I want to make this for dinner. I want to make it on Sunday. That date will be the 28th. It makes 6 servings and takes 60 minutes. I'm going to tag this as being quick and easy, being vegetarian, and being kid-friendly, and a pasta. So I can add all those tags. This is not something I would meal prep, and it's not something I would batch cook. If I have everything I have on hand, then I'll put ingredients on hand, check it, and then you'll see right here, it's ready for the week. And then if you want to add like a cute little icon, you can. What I do is when I'm trying out new recipes like this, something I've never made, I put it in my meal planner. I tried it when we eat it. Then I decide whether or not I'm going to drag and drop it back to my recipe box. If I love it, I'll drag it to my recipe box so that I know it's something I've tried and that I loved and want to eat again. So once I was done, I say I made it this week and it was great, which I'm sure it would be. I'll come over here, drag it, and it will now live in my recipe box. Next up is batch cooking. Batch cooking is, again, that process of how you will cook multiple meals at one time for future eating. This could be a great thing to do if you're about to travel, if you have illness, if somebody's getting ready to have, something going on, you're going to be so busy that you're not going to have time to cook. You can do this. There's a little bit of instruction here. And this is actually your meal planner database. The way this is sorted is anything that's checked batch cooking, you would do. So when you're building your meal planner for the week here, so we're looking at this and we're building our planner. If I knew that I could batch cook several items, I would check them and say, I'm going to batch cook that. In that, I'm going to make that in advance. Then when I go to my batch cooking database, same database, but here's just everything that's listed as batch cooking. I also gave you a couple more things here. This is a batch cooking task list. When you're batch cooking, this is all about being productive and efficient. So here you can break down everything that needs to be done. So here you could go to this recipe and say, okay, I need to make 1 cup of mirepoix. I need to cut a steak up. I need to maybe cut up some thyme or buy some bay leaves. You can add all of these things here. Then you can go do the same thing for this recipe. You can maybe say, okay, I know I need to roast a head of garlic. I need to mince a yellow onion, and maybe I need to mix up all these spices. I need to get some, chicken stock, whatever. You can break this down so that way when you're cooking, maybe you're chopping everything at one time, and then maybe you're handling all the meat at one time. Maybe you're prepping spices at another time. The other database I created here is prepared meals. So in the event that you take these and you batch cook them, and now they're living in your freezer, you can take these and you can put the date you created it. So let's say I made it on February 3rd. I need to eat it within 30 days. So I'm going to put it on for March 3rd. And that way here I can see the expiration, which is the eat by date on here. If an item needs additional cooking, so for instance, with a beef ragu, you may have just made the ragu and you didn't have any pasta with it, you can check needs additional cooking, means that some additional step needs to be made. Maybe you need to make a side to go with it, or you need to heat up a pasta. The final thing I want to show you is the go-to meal plan. The idea of the go-to meal plan is I wanted to create a place where you could create a meal plan for weeks that you don't want to think about. Maybe you're really busy at work, or maybe you're traveling, or maybe you have something going on and I'm not going to have time. So what you can do, this is actually your recipe box. When you're in your recipe box, you can go through and tag meals as a go-to meal. If you tag something as a go-to meal, that means that on the weeks you have when you don't want to think about meal planning, so this would be a meal plan that you can execute at any time without thinking, I'm going to tag it a go-to meal, which means I know on that week, I'm going to cook this meal. The great thing you can do is you can go ahead and build a go-to grocery list. So here, come in, copy, and we're going to paste that, and I see everything that I need to make that recipe. So not only can you go through and create these go-to meals, you can go through and maybe pick 3 or 4 dinners, or maybe 5 dinners, a handful of breakfast, a couple lunch options, and you can build a grocery list so that this week you truly don't have to worry about what you're going to do. The other thing you can do here is that you have access to your perpetual grocery list. These are items that are in stock, so you'll be able to see what you have on hand if you've kept up with that. You also could change the filter and see items that you need. So that is the idea of the go-to meal plan. So this is how I meal plan in Notion. Of everything I've ever created in Notion, and I have created dozens of templates, this is something that I personally use on a near daily basis. I meal plan probably 2 to 3 weeks at a time. I schedule them out, and then every week, once we're done, I drag meals around, things that I never got around to making, or things that I maybe didn't have all the ingredients for. I kind of rotate it, make sure we work through all the meals that I had planned for the month, and it is absolutely the most useful thing I've ever done. This brand new version is completely new and updated that I created for myself because I really, really wanted to have a better way to do this. And if you buy this over on Etsy, you get everything, and I give you this cute little icon of the lemon, which I just loved. And so I hope you enjoy it. If you use it, please drop me a comment or contact me on Etsy and let me know if you've used it. Thanks so much.